Okay, just go ahead.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Jack Miller is here to present about the online Blue Book. So Jack, it's all yours.
Great. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us. I am going to turn my camera off here in a few minutes so that my radiant beauty won't be a distraction during the presentation. That's where you laugh. Anyway, we're gonna do that so that when I share my screen, then you don't have a little block of me blocking part of the screen. And we'll go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with a little Word or a PowerPoint presentation that I created. And let's do the entire screen. There we go. And F5. So we're going over the online appliance Blue Book. And I have a few things that I wanted to make notes on, so I made sure that I could present today. The first thing that I usually try to teach new customers coming onto the Blue Book is that the Blue Book is a tool, just like a screwdriver. If you leave it in the toolbox, it doesn't do you any good. So you have to use it for what it's intended. Part of it is overcoming customers' objections. So it's not just a pricing tool to make sure that you're profitable, but it's to help you be able to get the customer on board with your pricing schedule and understand that the pricing is a fixed price and they get the price up front. So we're going to go through a few of these little points and then we'll get started with the live demo of the products here in just a minute. So why are they charging us this price? So where did that price come from? Are they making that up? Is there anything legitimate about what they're telling me this price should be? And so by using the Blue Book, you're entering this from the part, starts with the part, and that generates and associates to the labor and your service charge and gives you one total price to present to the customer. So are they charging me more because I live in a nice neighborhood, or are they raising the price because I have a Mercedes in the driveway? These are all the things that the customers are thinking. And so when you don't have a firm price or something you can show the customer to give it legitimacy, then the customers are always wondering if you're trying to take advantage of them. How much is the part? What do you charge per hour? These are all common questions when you do time and materials that this system helps to overcome. When you're presenting the part price, the first thing that the customer wants to do is to go to the internet and look it up to see if you're overcharging them. I can get it 35 cents cheaper on the internet. So the idea here is that you're not breaking down those parts. And I personally recommend that you don't. You present one total price for the repair. So how much was the part? You can't tell me how much that was. It's like, it's just part of our service. We sell service, not parts. And you want to take and present it maybe like a restaurant. If you go out to a restaurant for a nice steak dinner and it's $29.95, do you ask them how much the baked potato is? So we're giving the whole price up front. Yes, we have a cost for a part, but we aren't selling parts, we're selling the whole service, so we don't break those out. And then what do you charge per hour? We don't charge by the hour. We give you an exact price before we start the repair, and you can make a choice at that time. If you don't want to do the repair, you're only responsible for the service charge, okay? So what can the Blue Book do? One consistent price based on the part. So that means that if mom and daughter go out and buy a laundry set, they buy the same laundry set and say 3 months apart, they both have the same issue. And you're doing time and materials, you can take and you send out a green technician on one and you send out an experienced technician on the other one, and the pricing isn't consistent. So one may end up getting overcharged or undercharged based on that, where the Blue Book helps to fix that, giving one consistent price. If it's the same repair, it's the same price regardless of the location of that appliance. I will repair this Whirlpool dryer belt for $196. Would you like me to complete the repair? And the customer can say yes or no. What happens is, let's say that the spouse comes home later and says, you paid how much for that, and calls you up and complains. The reality is the agreement was done before you did the repair. So is the appliance working properly should be your first question. And then when they say yes, then you say, well, we gave the price before we did the repair. If that person wasn't authorized, they shouldn't have scheduled us. So they agreed to the repair price, and that's the fair price that we charged. Unfortunately, we cannot unfix your appliance at this point. Showing pictures of the parts that you're replacing also helps to instill confidence, because you're holding the broken part in your hand, and on the screen you're showing the replacement part. One total price includes everything. Like we said, you don't need to break that out, and it eliminates that clock watcher. Oh my God, they've already been here 15 minutes. There's $45 or whatever. That's all gone. We've eliminated all that by using this tool. The Blue Book is changing, so I wanted to go over a few things with everybody, because currently, even if you decided that you want it, we can't give it to you yet. And I'll go through this here and explain that. So we're currently updating our online platform, and we've completely rebuilt the Appliance Blue Book, My Parts Help, and put it on our new platform, which is called MPH Diagnostics.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
Sorry, you cut out about a minute ago, and I'm
Okay.
telling people to refresh their screen, because some have open tabs and some don't. Could you start at the beginning of this slide?
This slide?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay, sure.
Thanks.
All right. So we're changing the Blue Book, and currently we're not allowing new subscribers on the old platform, and our new platform isn't quite ready. In 2018, we introduced MPH Diagnostics on our new platform, and it's become the base platform for all of our new products. This is the same platform that Google Search uses, so it's very fast, very modern, very current platform. It'll work across most all browsers, although we do recommend that you use Google Chrome for your browser, but it'll work on your iPhone, it'll work on your Android phone, it'll work on your laptop. So it makes it really easy and very uniform for everybody to be able to use it. Today, we're going to start by going over our old platform and see how the product works, because the concept, the basis of how it works remains the same. It'll look a little different. It may have a little different functionality on the new platform, but presenting it and calculating the price and all that will be very similar. In the next few weeks, the new platform will be ready. I don't have an exact date yet, but within a few days, we should have all the new pricing figured out, and I'll get that posted on our website. And for more information and announcements, if you want to go to appliancebluebook.com, that's our public website that we'll try to put updates on for that as we do. If you have any questions, please reach out to me after the call today. If you have questions on this specific product, then feel free to type them in, and Sarah will ask them to me while I'm doing the presentation. Otherwise, you can reach out to me after the call. Phone number is 877-877 again, 8635, and then option 1 will get you to me when you call in. Or you can email me direct at jackm@servicecompany-solutions.com. Kind of a long one there. All right, so let's get started with the presentation. So give me just a second to switch to my browser. And part search. Okay, when a user logs in currently, if you already have a Blue Book subscription, this would apply to you currently. When we move to the new system, we'll go over that here in a few minutes. You log in, this is what a technician sees, and technically what this is My Parts Help. If you were trying to locate a part only, you would take and enter a part number here and search My Accounts, or search nationwide, and it would go out and look for that part to see if it's available. It's not what we're going over today. We're going to go over the Blue Book. So we're going to click on Blue Book page. And what this is the presentation to show to a customer. So everything that you're seeing on this page has been marked up. It's what we would call full retail. You don't see any of your part costs or anything of that sort in the screen. So this is strictly for customer presentation. We have 2 methods that you can present. You can use vendor sites, which is live information, or Blue Book database. Vendor sites, if you have a part, you should always use vendor sites. Blue Book database should be used when it's labor only. So if you're taking and removing a rag or a sock out of a washer pump, you're not replacing a part, you're just doing the labor, that would be under Blue Book database. If you need to add a second man for like a double wall oven, or you're using an appliance all dolly or something, you would use Blue Book database to put that additional charge in there. But when you're working with parts, you're working with vendor sites. So that's where we're going to start. First drop-down box here is your tax. So you have a city tax, you have a state tax, are they tax exempt? This is all customizable. So if you have a different taxing district for every city or every zip code that you service, you can enter them all in here, and then your technician would need to pick it on the when they're in the customer's home to be able to select the right tax. I'm going to do exempt for this one. The next one is a drop-down list, and what this is these are additional charges. So let's say that a customer within 5 miles of your shop is your base charge, but if you have to go 10 miles plus, you charge an extra charge. So you could go in and select like zone 2, and you could create multiple zones. And in the background, that's going to add whatever dollar amount we've assigned. In this case, I think I have $20 or $25 assigned to zone 2. For this first presentation, I'm going to take it off because I want you to see unaltered data as we're doing this. So we're now ready. We've logged in, customer technicians to this screen, and he's ready to do his first quote. So we're going to go in, we're going to work on a dryer, and we're going to do a Whirlpool. And part number we're going to use is 279311. We're going to hit search my search. So first thing it does is it says, hey, you've got some of these in stock on your truck. If you connect your inventory to our system, the system will display whether or not you have that in stock. Works both on the old system and on the new platform. So that will be something coming soon. In this case, I'm going to say, no, I don't want to use my inventory price. I want you to go get a fresh inventory price. The system then takes and it goes out, and when you see the scrolling bar here, it's logging into your part distributors. Okay, it came back and it said, hey, we found multiple choices based on that part number. Here's pictures based on that part number. We're going to click here, and we're going to select the Whirlpool version of that part. So we don't make that determination for you. Those part numbers are being returned from your part distributors. So we didn't say, hey, there's 2 versions of this. The part distributor said there's 2 versions of this. Next, it's showing me that it's a valid part number. It's currently assigned to a glow igniter kit, but when you get a little drop down here, it gives you more options. So we're going to click on that. So it's a different glow igniter, flat, round, and sensors. Which one do you want to use for the labor? I'm going to say that it's just the standard glow igniter. The next thing it's doing is it's telling me that this is available in 3 days. If I scroll over the asterisk, it's finding that from Tribbles in Alexandria. Okay, so I scroll off of that so it disappears. I click add. Total is $239.78. We have the part in stock. Can I complete your repair for you today? So the intent here is that I'm asking for the cell. They can see the total price. Okay. At this point, the customer has 2 choices. 1, do the repair. Number 2 would be don't do the repair, but pay the service charge. So our intent with this is that we're able to, in one location, remove a whole bunch of phone calls and outside contact that would be necessary from a technician. So I have the part in stock or I don't have the part in stock. If I don't have it in stock, it's available in 3 days. Today is Tuesday, so that part would be in on Friday. Would you like me to schedule you for a return visit on Friday afternoon? Or would you like me to schedule you sometime next week? I haven't called the part distributor. I haven't called the office. I haven't done anything. All that information is right here on the screen for me. The intent with this is to try to save as much time, both for the customer and for the technician as possible. Because if we can save them 5 minutes on every job, not having to call into the part distributors, not having to call into the office, they can potentially get another job in the course of a day. All right, so let's take a look at how the system calculated this price. So next to our total price here, we have a little hidden button, a little couple of double arrows there. And here's the breakdown. So the part with markup is $31.18. It's been assigned to a J13 labor or repair level, which is $113.65. And then the service charge is $94.95. So when we add all of this stuff up here, you've got $31.18 for the part, the service charge of $94.95, the repair rate of $113.65, giving us a total of $239.78. If I would have selected a sales tax other than exempt, it would have displayed the sales tax in here as well. All right. What if we have a second part that needs to go on at the same time? So also we do is we go back to our original location where we entered that first part. Let's do a 341, 241, and you now have exhausted my knowledge, my memorized knowledge of part numbers. So I have 2 down for my presentation. If you have any others, you have to give them to me. All right, so what it's doing now is it's going back and it's logging back in. It says, okay, that it also is a 1969 for the belt drum, and that's actually the belt that goes on the drum. That's the repair. And it's got 2 labor levels. It has a J13 and an F12. The logic in this is the J13 because that was the higher of the 2 repairs. Okay, so the system will work like a shopping cart. You can add as many different repairs. You enter the part here, you enter them down here. If it's a labor only that you're adding, you could click on Blue Book database and do cleaning the blower fan or something else that could be put in there. And it's going to add it to the total. Now, in this case, you're an experienced technician and you realize these aren't really the same repair. We're doing 2 repairs on the same appliance. I don't need to charge a second service charge. I don't need to charge a full repair rate on it, but I need to charge a little bit more than what the system is currently showing. So what I'm going to do is I can go in and it gives me all the labor levels. I can just bump it up a labor level, hit set code, and it changes the price to that next labor level. Okay, that's one of 2 ways that technicians can alter prices. Keep in mind, it can alter them the other direction too. It could lower the price. We don't recommend it. We've actually had I have a little story for you. We had a customer, he hired a technician. Technician was new and green and went out to an elderly gentleman's home and was doing a repair, gave him the price, and the guy's, oh, I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford to pay that price. Turned around and he goes, okay, well, let me see what I can do. So he went in and he lowered the price to a J13 and hits that code. Okay, I can do it for $253.47. No, that's still a little bit more than what I feel like I can afford to pay at this time. So he goes, well, okay, well, let me see what I can do. And he goes in and he lowers it again. Set code. He's now lowered the price by like $70. The guy gets irate at him. He goes, if you can charge me that price to do this repair, you should do that from the start. You're ripping off seniors. And he went out and he wrote a horrible review on every website he could find for this company. So what I try to teach as I'm teaching new customers on our product is keep your pricing the same. Don't alter the price. So the reality is that this price should be the L14 set code. Our price is $289.77. I'm sorry that price doesn't meet what you want it to be, but I have a $20 off coupon in my truck. Would that help? So the pricing stays the same and you're offering a coupon, or there's a coupon on our website. If you can print that out, I can turn it in with the invoice so I don't get in trouble for changing prices. The intent here is to keep that price, the price that it should be, and then offer some sort of discount. Or we give a 10% senior discount. So the price stays $289.77. When you write it on the invoice, it says $289.77 minus 10% senior discount minus $29. Okay, so again, we're not compromising the prices. We're keeping a consistent price that is meant to make sure, number one, that you're profitable. Number two, that you're charging professional rates and not giving your services away. And then also making sure that you're consistent. The price is always this for this repair. Okay. A few more features on this page. You can set any type of specials that you want over here. This is all editable by the admin in your account. We have different things that show up based on the product that you select. So in this case, we selected dryers to start. It's talking about venting and cleaning vents as well as dryer fires. Okay. If we were to do a washing machine, this would be stainless steel mesh hoses. It would be things like a Fresh. I think a Fresh also comes up on like dishwashers, etc. That's all customizable in our program. You can have it be whatever you want. You just have to go in and change it from the admin side. Do we have any questions so far?
Currently, you do not.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Sarah. So we also give you the ability to save this. So let's say that this is Mr. Smith. And if you have a job ticket number, you can enter that next to it, hit save. And what that does is down here under, it won't reload the pictures, but it reloads the quote. All right. So that's the basis of the Appliance Blue Book from a user side. Now let's go back. I'm going to get out of this screen, go back to my customer panel. And this is where we take and have all of the controls in this blue bar. So I can go up here into the Blue Book, click on that, and it's showing me, here's the service charges that we have set up. So currently our boutique appliances are $129.96, which is a weird amount, but I must have edited it to show somebody when I was doing a demo. We've added a new custom brand. These are $109.95, and then standard appliances are $94.95. Then in addition to that, our part markup up here, based on our vendors, is using the service desk algorithm for part markup. And so we start with the suggested retail price in our system, and then we turn around and we mark it up using a 1.5 over 3.0 that fits into, and that way it can be kind of a sliding scale based on what you're selling your parts in mixed into the job. Again, the job puts the whole thing together. But Sarah, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Are vendors customizable?
You pick your vendors. The current system does not give you the ability to adjust markup based on vendor. The new system, there will be some flexibility with that, but whether that shows only on Part Search or shows in the Blue Book, I'm not 100% sure on, because I'm not 100% up to speed on the new system yet.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can customize these when you're using the sliding scale. You want to be careful. I don't like the way it marked up this Whirlpool belt, so I'm going to adjust these numbers a little bit. Oh, great! The Whirlpool belt looks perfect, but now the $600 GE cooktop is now $18,000. So you have to be careful. You want to check a high-end and a low-end part if you're using numbers that aren't part of our standard markup schedule, because we know what it's going to do with the 1.5 over 3.0. You can also do a flat rate. So you can go in here instead of service desk, you could select a simple model. And when you do that, it's supposed to change here. There we go. You enter a multiplier. So if I want to mark that up 20%, I would go in 1.25. So it would take the price times 1.25, or 125% total, and it would have 25% markup on it. All right, I'm going to cancel that so it didn't save it. Blue Book data is stored data. So let's say that your part distributor doesn't have the part in stock and you don't have a second part distributor set up. The system is going to revert to stored data. We don't suggest using that. It's going to give you a little red message that says verify part price, because that price could be 10 years old in our database. So we recommend you use the live vendor site, but on occasion it's just not available and you're still looking for a price. The system will do its best to try to give you one. If it can't find any information, it uses 1 cent. So you want to double check that. But it does give you a red message that says verify part price. Okay. Vendors, you were asking about vendors. So I can go to the vendor list. This is who I currently have set up in my vendors for my test account, but I can click add vendor, and under the vendors, here's a list of all the part distributors that participate with our system currently, plus the 6 or so that I already showed on the other. Okay. You can connect your inventory so that it shows up in the screen. And you'll want to take and make sure that you restrict stocking locations so that if somebody else is looking for a part, your inventory doesn't show up your truck stock to other people to buy from you. You can control your subscriptions, your invoices, your credit cards, all under account management. That's similar on both systems. And then the technician presentation. If we hit the setup job rate page, you can enter and customize so the top of the page looks like you want it to for your company. So it would have your logo, it would have your slogan, it would tell what your service area is. We also have a checkbox here that says service charge waived with repair. When you check that, What that does is it takes the service charge and makes it 0, and it takes the service charge amount that was $94.95 and it puts it into the labor. So the ultimate price does not change, but the way that it displays to your technician would. And the only reason to do that is if you are telling the customer service charge waived with repair. Some companies like it, some companies don't. I know it's been a debate for years. Our suggestion is to not do it that way, that you present your price is this much for the service charge or this much for the repair. It's one or the other. It just starts confusing customers when you say, we deduct it from our repair or we waive the service charge. When you start saying that, then they're expecting the price to change because you've taken and removed that service charge from it. The reality is you can't be profitable if you're not charging a service charge. Or what companies that are using that method is they've raised their labor rates instead. And so, whatever works for your company is fine. Our typical practice is we teach them, this is your diagnostics, come out and diagnose. At that point, you'll be given an exact repair price. If you decide to repair, you don't pay a separate service charge. All right. So that's the old Blue Book system. Does anybody have any additional questions they'd like to send over to Sarah before we move on? And I'm going to show you a quick demo of the new system. Keep in mind, it is not live yet. I'm logged in as an admin. It may not work properly when I do it. So it's I'm trying to give you a little sneak preview, but it's I know that not everything is up and functioning yet. So. Anything, Sarah?
There have been no other questions submitted yet.
Perfect. Okay. So, Sarah, part of this is for you as well, because I told you we're gonna show you this this other product at some point. So this is a really good time to kind of tie it in. So on the new platform, everything is tied together. And then you just pick and choose what you want your users to have access to. So NPH Diagnostics is on this, which is the triage tool. You enter a model number, it tells you the common things that have been repaired on this in the past. And this information is coming from other servicers' repair tickets. So go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, I do have a question. Can you show us how to adjust labor rates? So I don't know if that's in the new system or the old system.
We'd have to do it in the old system because I can't do that on the new system yet for you for display. But so
can we go back to that towards the end?
Why don't we go back because I haven't really started this yet. So let's go back and look at that now. So when you're doing a Blue Book price, it contains 3 components: service charge, part with markup, and the repair labor. The repair labor, I'm going to click here on labor codes under the settings. We have 10 preset labor codes and we assign them for you in the background in our database. So let's take a look at like the F12 here. That repair rate is $84.50. Okay, that would be plus the $94.95 service charge if it's a standard appliance, plus the part with markup. So those 3 things together take and give you your total price. Now, a lot of people ask this because what they want, the first thing they want to do is they want to go in and they want to change these labor codes, okay? And I caution you because when we set our pricing, we set it with a fair profit margin in mind so that you have money for marketing, you have money for health insurance, you have money for cell phones, you have money for trucks, you have money for gas and insurance and everything that is necessary to run a professional appliance company. You can change these, you can adjust these, but typically what we say is if you're trying to adjust for your overhead, that should happen in your service charge, not in your repair labor, your labor codes. And the reason is because whether you're working in Manhattan, New York, or whether you're working in Manhattan, Kansas, the knowledge, the tools, and the time to do the repair all remain the same. The only thing that really changes is your overhead or cost of doing business based on location. And that, like I said, should be adjusted in your service charge, not in your labor rate. Okay, you can certainly adjust them if you want to. We won't say anything. I'll give you one quick story again. At a customer call, they're not making any money. They wanted to try our system, so they did. They signed up, I trained them, we spent a lot of time getting everything set up, etc. They called me back a month later and they said, we've decided that we're not going to use your service. And it's like, okay, is there anything that you can tell me so that we can look as this to see if there's anything we can do to improve it? And they're like, no, we're just not making any money. And I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at your account real quick. And we went in and we looked, and they cut every single one of these labor rates in half. And they said, our customers won't pay that other rate. And it's like, how do you know? Did you try it? Well, no, but we just know. So what they did is they took our system, lowered it to what they were charging before, and then of course it didn't work. So just a caution on that is when you take and start lowering your prices, you take and you are taking away your health insurance, your retirement, your perks for your employees, your new van in 5 years. So we really caution how much you start changing prices, at least without figuring out your market first.
Hey, Jack.
Yep.
I have another question.
Okay.
Does this plug into all vendors?
It doesn't just automatically plug in. So we have to write programming for every single vendor that participates in our system. And it uses that interface that we build to talk to the vendors to see what's the current part price, do you have it in stock, which locations have it, etc. So that's all custom programming from us.
Perfect, thank you.
If there's a specific vendor someone's looking for, let me know. We have probably 95% of all the big vendors, and we have probably 80% of all the regional vendors. We do have a lot of specialty vendors such as Sub-Zero, Wolf Viking. Trying to think of who else that would be kind of specialty. But we have all of your bigger ones, like Marcone is, I think, the largest in the nation, followed by probably Reliable, Tribbles, Day, B&B. I don't know who else, but just if someone has a specific question, you can either type it and Sarah can ask, or you can follow up with me after the presentation. Any other questions on the old system before I go back to the new one?
That's it so far.
Perfect. All right, so let's switch back over. So the idea with the new system is to make everything so it kind of flows back and forth easily within the system. So we're going to go in and we're going to start in diagnostics. And this is meant to be a triage tool so that you can pre-diagnose before you go out to the customers, with the intent of hopefully saving you a trip, making it a first call complete. It also helps to give more ammunition to a customer service agent, because they could type in the customer's complaint in here and see whether or not it comes up and matches a part, and then they can see if they have the part in stock or if you're going to be waiting for the part. So instead of sending a technician out on something that is probably going to be, you know, this one specific part, you now kind of know that it's going to be that part and you don't have it in stock. So let's schedule it for tomorrow or the next day when we have that part in stock and save a trip out. So the intent there is the better your first call completes percentages, the higher your profitability in the company is. I'm going to do a KitchenAid dishwasher, and it goes for about the same reason that I only know one part number. I only know the first few letters of KitchenAid dishwasher, so that's why we're using a KitchenAid dishwasher. And we're just going to click here on this. This is a stainless steel model. The left-hand side is this exact model. The right-hand side is the family of products, meaning could be the red one, the blue one, the stainless steel one. It could be an older model, a newer model, etc. But they're all connected. So in this case, the number one problem on this dishwasher is a cable roller kit. Here's the part number for that cable roller kit. I didn't have to go look at an exploded view or try to figure out what the part number is. It's right here on the screen. 36% of the time, this has been the repair. It's the number one repair on this particular model. 11% of the time, other parts were put on with this. That's not a real high percentage, but if you look down here under user interface, 69% of the time, something else was put on with that user interface. That's really good information, because 2/3 of the time, you had to put something else on. And if I click on it, our system displays what that is, okay? So I'm gonna click off of that. Over here tells you what model number the information is looking at. In this case, it's the exact model. If I look at this side, here's a whole bunch of models. And then the little person talking, if you are sharing your data back with our system, and this is only available through customers who use Service Desk by Rossware, or ePass by R&D Business Systems. You can share your information back, and then you can actually see your own customers' complaints in our system. Nobody else can see them. So you can't see mine, I can't see yours, but I can search all of them. So I can click on recommended, and I can search something like no power. I can't spell no power, but I can search for it. All right, show recommended. And the system goes out and highlights the part that it thinks would be appropriate based on that search. So customers have complained that they're having no power on this dishwasher. Based on that complaint, the number one thing is the fuse kit. All right, again, part number over here to the right. If it's not in this top 10, you can also select view more results, okay? And it will show you everything that's in the database for it, for this particular model. The other thing, and the next step, is where we start talking across, why am I showing you this when we're supposed to be talking about the Blue Book? Is because now this stuff is integrated. I can click on this part number. It's going to take me over to my part search tool, which is it's the next generation of my parts hub. And it's saying, hey, you have one of those or you have 3 of those in stock. It's on truck 1 is the location. And I don't have any pricing. I didn't put any pricing in for my demo today, but it just shows it right to you on the screen, so you know you have the part in stock. If I didn't have it in stock, I could get it from Reliable Parts in 3 days out of Phoenix, Arizona, or I could get it from Marcone, but the only location I have is under vendor, and that's 9 days. So I would probably just go with the Reliable and get it on order as soon as I can. This is all color coded on the right-hand side here, so that if it's green, you know you're good to go. If it's yellow, it's wait a second. If it's orange and red, oh, there's a problem. We can't get it in a very timely manner, so we need to think through this a little bit more. But the idea is, if you see that green, you can quickly say, oh, we can get it, it's no problem, and you move on. Down below, you have all the pictures. If you click on the pictures, you can enlarge them, and it opens it in a new tab. And that's really great. Does this have 3 prongs or 2 prongs? You know, when you're looking at something, do I have the right one? The other nice thing about this is when you enter the part number and it's a cable roller kit, but it's showing up a belt, you know you entered the part incorrectly into the system. So I'm going to copy that part right now, Control-C, and I'm going to go over to Blue Book. So we're working on, do you have any tax? I'm going to say it's exempt. Do we have any other charges that we need to apply, after hours, zone, anything else that we have in there? In this case, I don't. I'm going to select a KitchenAid. I'm going to select the dishwasher. Then I'm going to select a KitchenAid. And I'm going to enter my part number. All right, and enter. And so now it's come up and it says, okay, we have 4 choices for that part number. It's been associated to a door actuator assembly, door springs, door hinges, door switches. Which do you want to choose? I'm just going to choose the first one. And it's going to come back and say that the total price on this is $263.51. If I click on the little window, and keep in mind, I am in a diagnostic mode, so it may change the look whenever we get to it. But here's the same kind of similar to what we had in the old system. The part is $39.91. The J13 is $113.65. The service charge on this one is a premium appliance, so it's $109.95 for a total of $263.51. So that's kind of how the new system works. If you need to change the price, you would adjust it over here on the side. And we haven't added the pictures into the screen yet, and we haven't added some of the other functions. So what I really say at this point is this isn't dressed up for window shopping yet, but it is the basics of the programming is there, and we're starting our beta testing right now. So any questions from anybody?
Yes, I have a couple.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. Will it bring in current pricing?
Yeah, it works live with your part distributors. So it's going to go out and say, okay, based on your account with Reliable, what is their suggested retail price or their cost, and what markup schedule do we have applied to that? Do the markup, bring it in, and it will show in that total price.
Okay. Will the software connect to QuickBooks, or can it be used as a standalone field software?
It is a standalone product, but it does interface, but only with two softwares. It'll interface with Service Desk and it will interface with ePass. Although those interfaces have not been written for the new platform yet. We are working on them.
Okay. When will, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it does not automatically interface into QuickBooks. It will be something where, just as if you bought a printed book, you would have to enter that into your invoice or invoicing system. This would be the same unless you're using one of those other two softwares.
Okay. When will this new software be available?
As I stated, it's in beta testing right now. We're working as quickly as we can to get it out there. It's still a few weeks out. Whether that's 2 weeks or whether that's 5 weeks, I don't know, because I'm not doing the actual programming management. So I'm doing some of the beta testing. I'm working directly with our development team. Things are getting very exciting on our end because we know it's close. It's just not quite there yet. Again, could be as quick as 2 weeks, but most likely it's going to be 3 to 4.
Okay, so right after the first of the year.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have a comment. The cut and paste of the model number into Bluebook seems clumsy. Will that be automated?
We hope so, yes. So again, Bluebook, part search and diagnostics are fully live now. We can actually, if you subscribe to diagnostics, I can turn on part search. Bluebook is still in development. So most of it's done, but all of the little, oh gosh, should be nice if we could just click here and it'll dump that part number in, is not quite done yet.
Okay, perfect. Someone commented for a single user pricing, but I don't know what they're, Abraham, if you want to explain or expand upon that, let me know.
Yeah, on the new system, pricing isn't set quite yet.
Okay.
So I can't give out any information on it yet. The old system, it was $149.95 setup, $29.95, and it included the first user. Each additional user was 12. The new system is based on quantity of usage, and so it will be a different pricing structure. It should financially be comparable to what the other pricing was.
Okay, perfect. That's all I have submitted so far. If anyone else has questions, please submit them to Jack before we move on.
There I am.
Okay, will one price cover all function?
We will be doing the ability where you can do part search or diagnostics as standalone. The Bluebook will require, because it sets on top of part search, it's going to require all of the products to be installed, but you don't have to use them. So it'll price it based on what you use, not on what you subscribe to per se.
Perfect. Okay. If you want to go over to chat, Jack, that's all so far. I don't know if there's.
What's that? Okay.
So if you want to look on the chat field, you can, but that's all the questions we have so far.
Okay, awesome. Who's that Paul McDonald guy always trying to cause problems? Cut and paste. He's the same one that caused me grief at a trade show too. I also like the fact that he's muted and can't respond.
Oh, he can type though.
He can.
Anybody else have any questions or anything you want to ask Jack? Paul,
hey, Paul. At least we know you're not asleep. That's good.
Okay.
You're gonna have to,
you can see? Okay.
Yeah, I can. Abraham, you're going to have to wait a couple of weeks. If you want to get started early, you can go out and sign up for MPH Diagnostics, which is our triage tool. And that gets you into the system. Even if you don't subscribe to the triage tool yet, you can at least go out and get everything set up, and we will notify people when it's available. I would say probably your best bet is to check back early January. It might be out before that, but you know, it's all based on when we do our beta testing here, and we're working on that. And then we will pull a few specific customers over, let them beta test it in real world, and then let us know this doesn't work or this needs to look different, and then we'll roll it out to everybody.
And Jack, could we pull this list of attendees if they're interested and have it, like, you know, when you announce the new program after all the testing and everything, send them a notification?
Yeah,
Does
if
that
you
work?
can send me an email list of them, I'd be happy to
Perfect.
make sure that they're in our notifications. Sure.
Okay, awesome. I
Any
think
other
that's,
questions?
we have a couple thank yous. I think that's
Yeah,
it.
I try to keep it concise. I try not to have quite as many words as our previous presenter last week.
That's okay. Either one is good as long as we're informing people.
Exactly.
So
Don't hesitate to reach out to me, Jack M at servicecompany.solutions.com. Solutions is plural. I'm happy to answer questions that way. And our phone number again is 877-877 again, 8635. Option 1 gets you to me. Thanks, Paul. Merry Christmas to you as well.
perfect. I just sent the phone number on the comments if anyone wants to pull it off real quick. And then, yes, happy holidays to everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Jack, reach out to us. I think that's it, Jack.
Awesome. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
Have a great Christmas.
You too.
Yep. Bye.